I don't think I've ever even tried a Jerry Seinfeld impression. So what's with Facebook? I think I'd be more of Kramer though. Kermit the Frog here, teaching you how to use Twitter. Boy, 21 gigawatts. Put him up, put him up. Oh gosh, it's my Goofy. Hello, adventurer. So I want to talk to you about something that is super important to your adventure, and that is finding your voice. See, whether you're speaking or whether you're posting, your unique voice is super important to raise your influence. But here's what I see. I see everybody just being a copy of a copy. I just see somebody just being an echo. You don't want to be an echo. You don't want to be a copy. You want to have your unique voice because there is your story and your adventure and nobody else can do it the same way. So the world needs that. A friend of mine says cover bands don't change the world. And I thought, you know, he's right. While it might make you a living, that isn't inspiring. Being a songwriter, that is what we all want to be. We want to write music that speaks to people's souls. We want to be that song that is somebody's first kiss, their first dance, that moves them to take action. We don't just want to cover other people's songs. So the problem with that though, is that you can't find your voice overnight. They say that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. So when you hear an overnight success, realize that every overnight success was actually 10 years in the making. 10,000 hours, that's a lot to become an expert. Well, you know what? It has to start with that first hour, that first step. One of the things that really inspire me right now are stand-up comedians. Not because they're funny, I love to study them and what their process is. Take, for example, Jerry Seinfeld. I was reading about how he writes, and what's amazing is he writes every single day. So the key to being a good stand-up comedian, to finding that voice, is writing every single day. So again, whether you're speaking, whether you're posting, whatever you do, you have to do that thing every single day. You have to do those reps. His secret, which is pretty interesting, which I'll share with you, is that he gets a big, huge calendar, and then he puts that calendar on a wall, and then it has the entire year. And every time that he writes, he crosses out a date. Now again, that doesn't mean 4 hours, 5 hours. That means if he's sitting down and he's putting in the work, he puts in the work to get better, he crosses that off. And then after a while, he sees all these chains of dates that he crossed off. And you know what his motivation is? To not break the chain, to keep that going, to keep focusing on that thing to do better. For him, it is, if I'm gonna be funny, I have to write jokes every single day. So I don't know what that is for you, but what are you going to do to sit down? What is that 1% change that you're gonna sit down and you have to do every day and not break that chain? The other thing I love about stand-up comedians, it seems like they don't have the same success and failure thinking that we have. I love when I hear that a stand-up comedian will drive 2 hours to get heckled by 15 college students. You know why? Because he's putting in his reps. He knows that to be on the big stage, you gotta do a lot of small stages. You gotta try things out. You gotta keep going and not give up. You gotta get used to rejection. So you have to understand is that for a stand-up comedian, that's not a failure because they were able to try out what worked, what didn't work, and become immune to failure. That's why stand-up comedians are super funny, but they super inspire me. They inspire me because they don't give up. They put their reps in. You gotta put your reps in. You gotta not break your chain because the world needs your unique voice, and your adventure begins right now.